4th of July. Yeah. Easy money, ho. Quit playing. Previously on KIMBA TV. Like right there. I mean, it's still the same thing that we talked about yesterday. It's a you gotta lose it, or it doesn't really matter what happens, but you gotta reclaim it. You can't like just kind of stick around and build value. It's gotta be a quick reaction. Let's go! Easy money, chat. Juice it up. Go, 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 go. Juice it up, chat. Juice it up, chat. Bugatti money. Bugatti money. How we doing, Lions? Let's get that juicy juice, shall we? Let's get that juicy juice, shall we? Math, juice, levels, profits. Let's go! Easy money, chat. Easy money, chat. Easy money, chat. Let's go! Get it, cut. How we doing? Any questions? Easy money, Bugatti money, chat. Snow Legend, what's going on? Dipopy, what's going on? Fire Slayer, what's going on? Ninad, what's going on? JV, thank you for the resub, my guy. JV, any questions? You've got 3 levels of interest. Obviously, the 0.5, the golden pocket, and the 7.5. Anything lower than that is extremely bearish. All right, big dog. Let's go, JV. Any questions, JV? You're probably going to get a lot of like, oh, is that a Head and Shoulders? Retail traders. So look out for that kind of sentiment. And let's punk them. You know what I mean? If the Head and Shoulders is actually going to work, then you're going to get a...
He just told us to be prepared.
Like a bearish retest of the neckline. So, and if case, or if we spend, I don't know, maybe 2 30-minute candles below 108.3, then we're probably going to head on lower. All right, JV? I would love value area high to hold. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Problem is, JV, it's low volume. So just do your best. Have fun with it. 4th of July weekend. But JV, forget Bitcoin. Bitcoin is easy. Dude, this is going to get really interesting. This is interesting if Bitcoin doesn't hold. And everything that we've been kind of talking about, like, you know, with some of these outs, we're going to have a shot. So it's going to be a pretty interesting 2 hours. All right, JV. So tomorrow I'm thinking about doing a little alk out. Yeah. Dipopy says, trying to juice the giveaway. Juice the giveaway, my boy. Let's go, juice it up. Can I get a kit? I would really encourage you to watch the highlight from yesterday. What we talked about all day yesterday was this idea that you need to be in a defensive posture. You can't risk what you already have to maybe get what you don't have. So you have to understand that this is a holiday, 3-day holiday weekend. Volatility will be, what's the right word? It's not real, meaning it's low volume. So if it pumps or if it dumps, it's hard to trust it. And you just need to make sure that you don't lose money trading on a 3-day holiday weekend. That's the most important thing. So put your stop loss at break even, tiny profit, and just anticipate getting round tripped
and have a plan B, C, and D, just in case you get round tripped or stopped out or it front runs you by $10, whatever it is. But the good news is, if you have a good protocol, it really doesn't matter what day of the week it is, or if it's a holiday, or if it's a weekend. And what you really want to do is just use these trades as an opportunity to get better and test your hypothesis and test your protocol and test your thesis. Getting overly excited about one trade is a clear indication that you don't have a big sample size or you don't have that much experience. You know, a new lion cub or a new trader getting overly committed to one trade is like the 16-year-old that's like on his second girlfriend and thinks he's going to end up marrying her. You know what I mean? Like, treat this trade for what it is. It's a one night stand. You know what I mean? So, like, make sure you don't end up like, you know, getting her pregnant and then now you're committed for 18 years on child support type of shit. You know, stop loss and profit. I just joined. If we are usually stop loss at break even, why does it matter if the leverage is high? At this point, it doesn't. But in the very beginning, Smart Stark, especially if you're trying to learn, if your leverage is too high, this is what I don't want to happen, Smart Stark. You're going to take a long at the 757A6 or the golden pocket, and your stop loss is the 8A6 or the lower low when you first enter. Okay. What I don't want you to do is use leverage that's so high that you can't even put your loss at the 8A6 or the lower low simply because you would lose too much money. The leverage is fucking you. So as long as your leverage allows you to be mathematical, lets you see all the probabilities of like a Fibonacci retracement or an extension, then I'm okay with whatever the fuck you end up using. I just don't want you to use such a high leverage that you can't even let the math play out, thus you're stunting your... All right? Like, I've seen thousands and hundreds of thousands, probably millions of 7505, 886, 618, 1.2575, you know, to the point where I know roughly, you know, 30% of the time it does this, 58% of the time it does this, et cetera, you know, but I just don't want you to have such high leverage that have those sample sizes. You know, you got stopped out at the 7A6 because of your leverage, not because of your mathematical invalidation. That's all. Kirito Yagi says, high leverage, high fees. Your leverage doesn't matter. It's your position size. So if you're shorting 100 Bitcoin, whether you use 2X or 50X, your fees are based off of your position size. It won't matter. Zerp, Pipeline, Wojo, you good? Let's get nasty on him, chat. Easy Bugatti Mini. Quit playing with me. Sherry says, can it SFP 107, 185 like one more drive? It can do anything, Sherry. Yeah. So, Sherry, again, instead of trying to predict the future, have a plan, okay? Can it do blank? It can do anything, Sherry. It can do anything. Okay? But if, so your question was, can it SFP 107 like form one more drive? Sure. But have you traded SFPs of SFPs? Have you traded 3 drives and 4 drives? Have you traded all of those things during a 3-day holiday weekend when the volume is not trustable? Or is this the first time you're ever going to try that, Sherry? You know? So sample size and experience matters. Obviously, you know, data would matter. So you have the levels and you have structure, but just because you have an SFP doesn't mean that it's going to be a good long. There's 3 types of edge that I usually need to be able to take a trade. So it's up to you. Yeah, but you know, that's an opportunity for you to be self-aware. If you needed me to say those things to you, you're already behind, right? Because you're losing to somebody that doesn't need somebody like me to say that to them. They already know. So that's the competitive like drive that you got to get into, you know, and you got to look around and see where you're at and where you're supposed to be. Yep. But yeah, Sherry, your levels I like, but you should probably be locked in a little bit more on the data and edge. Right now, we're going to watch this and see if it makes a lower low or a higher high, just like we always do. And Sherry, I think the biggest thing that I could probably remind you is more often than not, bad lows get left behind during low volume weekends. How we doing, Juiciest? But Lions, just do your best. You know what I mean? Like, the only person that's gonna suffer is all of us individually. You know, like if I'm not willing to put in the time and do my best, I'm the one that suffers. If you don't want to do your best, you're the one that suffers, you know? And this game, there's nobody that's gonna force you to do anything. That's why I love this game, because it's all about you. Can you be self-aware? Can you be self-honest? Can you be self-accountable? You know? So let's get that nasty juice, 1.25ers. Quit playing with me. It's gotta be 10 yet. It gotta be 10 yet. Easy money. Latisse says, close my underwater longs, Pico bottom. Hey, I got filled at 1.25. But make sure you get caught up though, Latisse. I mean, I was pretty explicit about we're looking for scalp longs. But it's okay. Yeah. And so what would be something that gives us a chance to make a higher high now? So it's above the golden pocket, right? We need the golden pocket to do this, right? It has to be support. But how do we know if we can make a higher high or not? Want to take a wild guess? Oh, what a coincidence. And Latisse, do I even have to pull this line, dude? If it does pull back from the golden pocket, I mean, it's literally pixel fucking. I don't care if you're bullish or bearish, but you can't, don't tell me it's not pixel fucking. You might not like the way that it's pixel fucking, but it's pixel fucking, right? Dude, that's a 1.25 on a low volume 3-day holiday weekend. This is bot selling and bot buying. This is, I don't, you know, like, I think if you haven't got as much as I have, you're going to continue to get got. Because Latisse, 2-3 years ago, I would have been stopped out on a long there too. My first attempt long, break even, round trip. I'm in again at pixel perfect. And what I would love to do is leave this like this. Leave it. Perfect. That's perfect. And so all I really care about is, do we get above here, or is that a bearish retest? Probably, I would probably say that this is higher probability now. You know? So got to be careful for that. No matter how pixel perfect low long we have. Quit playing with me. Latisse says, yeah, I got to stop flip-flopping and stand my ground, either bear or bull. For sure. And that's okay, Latisse. Here's what I would say. And I think you were here yesterday too, Latisse. And this is the biggest takeaway, because I always tell you guys higher time frame, higher time frame, higher time frame. Usually, Latisse, it's low volume on a 3-day holiday weekend, correct? Yes or no? If you do agree that it's low volume, is low volume something that you can trust, or is it something that you would prefer to fade? Okay? So if it dumps low volume, what are you kind of maybe thinking about? If it pumps on low volume, what are you kind of thinking about? So it starts with that, right? And those are basic concepts that you learn when you first start trading, right? So that's not something that I made up. That's not something that you're making up, right? And just taking it on blind faith, right? Today is Friday. This is a 3-day holiday weekend. Can you tell me which day would most likely be the time or the day that they will do the actual move? Do you think it's Friday, or is it more closer to Sunday? I think it's a little bit more closer to Sunday. So going all in and planting your flag and telling yourself that I'm 100% bullish, I'm 100% bearish, I'm willing to die on this hill. That's stupid as fuck. Take your shots, put your stop loss at break even. Okay? If you feel like the price action is too difficult to tell, go to 30-minute or 1-hour candle closes. Okay? You should be able to argue both a bullish scenario and a bearish scenario, right? From where is anchor VWAP? Are we above it or are we below it? Fibonacci wise, on the 5-minute, is this bearish or bullish? What about on the 30-minute? Is this bullish or bearish? What about on open interest? Are we bullish or bearish? Do we have any CVD divergences? So, Latisse, me personally, I'm always going to be looking for longs on big pullbacks. And I don't think that's changed, right? Fair? Would that be fair to say, Latisse? I already am going into every day understanding that I'm looking for longs on pullbacks. So what I would encourage you to do, Latisse, is I want you, and no bullshit, I don't want you to just say you did it. I don't want you to just go through the motions. Oh, I got to go and help my buddy grab these fireworks. I'm going to be right back. But I want you to not just go through the motion. You know what I mean, Latisse? Like, stick to it and trust what you've seen before. All right. So zoom out a little bit, have, your plans and interpretations. Make sure you can look at all of the data across all the exchanges and explain if it's bullish or bearish. Okay. And just do your best. Okay. We've all seen this shit. You know what it is. I'm going to run down to the garage real quick. I'll be right back. How do we confirm that the 75786 actually did a retest and it's not going to be a structure change? You with me? No need to guess, Giovanni. You with me? And even if you don't feel like this is connecting and clicking, just keep watching this shit because this happens over and over and over. All right? If there's anything to take away from this, what I want you to what I want you to be able to figure out is no matter what all this ding dong bing bong is going, the golden pocket is resistance or it's support. You always start with that. Okay? So you already made a lower low. That means that the bears are essentially higher, lower high, lower low. That means that now for the bulls to even get nasty Bugatti, they got to reclaim this. Wow. There you go. But pretty cool though, right? Doink, boink, boink, right? Doink, doink. Or is it going to be doink, 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 doink? Oh yeah, Karoon. Quit playing with me, Karoon. Let me get that 2.6 dot. Right? So listen. Like there's always another and the most fucked up, the biggest L that you could take is one, doing some stupid goofy and just pissing away money for no reason. Or you're just sitting in the corner crying, talking about I missed the 98.5 long and you fuck up altcoin season. So yeah. Let me zoom out. Don't get lost in the sauce. So ETH doesn't come back until Sunday now, right? Is that right? So yeah. I mean, I would think this shit's gonna get clean. VWAP short, single print short, bearish retest short, easy. I mean, not finance, but I'm gonna probably be looking for that 109 CME short on Sunday if I have to wait for it. Derivatives going up there without CME, probably gonna take it too. Like what was support probably is going to be resistance now. So anything up here, like we already kind of talked about it, yeah, and that might get cleaned. And if it doesn't, no big deal. We'll be waiting for up there too. On the higher time frame, it's going to make new all-time highs anyways. So if that is an opportunity to get into a long on RTH Monday, easy juice. This will be fucking hilarious. Let me get this giveaway stuff out of the way. This 7.5 area will be fucking hilarious. But yeah, this is the most obvious, right? Clean that. And then that means that if we move up, this is kind of like fair game. This is probably going to creep down. This is probably going to creep down. This zone is going to be, yeah. But I'll be here tomorrow morning, So let's take a look at where we are tomorrow. Maybe we can scalp short that single print or the derivative version of that, huh? I'll always be down for that. I mean, downside is there's more pixel levels. The golden pocket is literally right here. 1.25 lines up with that. This wick is not going to count as the first drive, so there is room for one more for actually the correct 3 drives. And then last but not least, we talked about, all of that bearish retest shit. So if it pumps, we've got levels to be looking at. If it dumps, we've got levels to be looking at. And the most important thing for the levels to the downside is CME. So I don't think you should really try like a long without CME. It's probably going to give you the gap play on Sunday or Monday. I'll be here on Sunday CME gap resumption too. So it's not like you guys are going to be solo flying. We'll do our best and try to get pink together. Yeah. Any questions? Let me just read all of the winners. Haskir says, yeah, I'm trying to figure it out yet. Where to TP my long on Sol. This is what I would say, Haskir. I think the smarter thing to do, if you don't know, is are you more bullish or bearish? Because I'm bullish on Sol and the possibility of altcoin season and rate cuts still happening. And I still think 450, 480, 500 is possible for Sol. So just like Biddy, Sol, and any other altcoin, I rather get round tripped on the long, but tempting it. Now, I don't mean to like have it go to 300, have it round trip me all the way back down to 150. But conceptually speaking, I will try to hedge short instead of TPing long. Maybe since, Wall Street is talking about the first rate cut starting around September, you have a reason to say, hey, you know what? July and August, I should be a little bit more responsible in shaving longs. I think that is actually smart. How much anticipatory and front running do you want to do for like a September rate cut? Okay, let me try to read everybody's thing. Haskir says, yeah, me too. Just thinking if we get the 3 drive on Biddy, maybe we got that 144, 133.5. And yeah, I was thinking that too, maybe. Yeah, and let's really take a step back, Haskir. Do you know the reason why we're even having this conversation, Haskir? Do you know, like deep down, the only The only reason why you and I are even having this conversation is because we are talking about leveraged positions. If we were in a situation where we were just talking about spot, it would be a completely different conversation, right? So the more leverage that you use, the more pressure you're putting on yourself to be really perfect and knife catch. You're talking to me about 144, 143.5, 149.5, 151. Do you understand you're kind of nickel and diming? Like that's a little bit borderline goofy. Where you're talking about 50-cent wiggle room on something that's trading at $150, right? So understand, and that's okay. I'm going to be doing leverage positions too, but just understand that you're making it harder than it needs to be because of the leverage. So there's always an opportunity to dumb it down and make it a little bit easier. What you're going to notice, Haskir, especially with the 100K 1 mil spot challenge, is it might be easier and faster to do lower leverage and spot than to bing bong ding dong yourself with higher leverage and start to take unnecessary losses. There is, do you understand that there's like a mathematical threshold? There's a line in the sand where doing that on, let's say, 15 or 20x and having like a probability on expected value, like an EV of success, versus doing like a 3x, 4x, right? And having multiple positions across many different altcoins that you can take slower, than trying to do high leverage positions and putting yourself in kind of maybe only being able to do 3, 4, 5 altcoin positions. So there is a mathematical level, Haskir, where you can say, okay, instead of having maybe realistically, I'm going to have 4 and best case scenario, 5 altcoin longs, I could actually take a step back and do 5x, 6x, maybe even 7x if you really want to be greedy with it, and get into 20 different altcoins. I might not juice as fast, as like being into just being in 3 or 4 20x, 25x longs. But eventually, I will make more money if these juice up in the course of the long run. So it's actually really funny. Like if you really, really do want to be greedy, being smart and figuring that part out will make you more money. So like there's the lazy greedy and there's the smart greedy. And like at the end of the day, brother, it just comes down to how hard do you want to try in this game? Like, is it necessary to break it down like that? Not really, At the end of the day, it's being prepared and managing risk, right? But you're going to be surprised. This higher leverage, you want to get it done faster, you're greedy. We're all guilty of making this game a lot harder than it needs to be. And as long as you understand that, you got my blessing on doing whatever the fuck you want to do. But I just want you to understand, like, you're talking about 50-cent windows on an asset that's trading at $150. Warren Buffett would fucking freak out. He would think we were fucking retarded. Okay? So, there is an easier way to approach it. Then you don't need to be talking to me about a fucking 50-cent window or an invalidation. Right? I guess that's what my point is. I'm down to talk to you about, a 20 cent, 30 cent, 40 cent window, 50 cent, 60 cent on Sol. And and obviously I'm going to do leverage positions too, but yeah, I just want you to be aware of the fact that it doesn't have to be that difficult. You could be talking to me about let's accumulate everything between 135 and 120. But you know what I would it's like Haskir. Just a quick little exercise if you want to do it, okay? You know how much of your trading capital you want to allocate to altcoins, yes or no? If you haven't budgeted your altcoin season capital, you need to. And then what I would maybe say is, let's say theoretically you divide that into 3 altcoin longs, or let's say you divide that into 8 altcoin longs, or let's say you divide that into 20 altcoin longs, right? Obviously not everything is going to hit, but you should be able to say, okay, well, if I do 20 altcoin longs, this is what my margin is going to be, right? If I do 8 altcoin longs, this is what my margin would be. And then you can kind of theorize like, okay, if I'm going to long 8 altcoins, it's going to be boom, 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 right? If I'm going to only long 4 altcoins, it's going to be boom, 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 boom. If I'm going to do 20 altcoins, it's going to be boom, 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 right? And you can kind of theorize, okay, if this is my margin and I'm going to go 7x or 10x on this bitch, right? And this is theoretically on higher time frame, this is where I want to get filled, right? Like, I don't care if you want to get like a swing fail or like a, whatever the fuck, but you can kind of just start playing around with numbers and say, well, if I get this much filled on ETH at 1800, and if I get this much filled at 130 or 120 SOL on average, and if I get this much filled on SUI, and if I get this much filled on Hype, and this is my all-time high target, within 30 minutes of basic fucking arithmetic, you can figure out, should you do a 4 altcoin long, an 8 altcoin long, or a 20 altcoin long? So if you haven't done stuff like that, maybe we do that kind of shit live tomorrow if you want. But don't fucking wait for me to do it for you. You should be excited enough to want to do the kind of shit like that on your own, I would hope. But those are like very simple, I think, planning and preparation exercises that everybody should be going through. And it doesn't have to be like exact numbers. It doesn't have to be 4, 8, 20. Maybe you want to do 12 altcoin longs. I don't know. But you can start to figure out how lucky or how good those 4 altcoin longs need to be versus you've got a little bit more wiggle room if you've, planted seeds on 20 of them. So, all right, but have fun with it. You've got all this time, right? And it's the holiday weekend, so most people are going to be fucking around, hanging out with family. If you're a single person and you've got no family obligations, I mean, I would fucking nerd out and have all of those planned out this weekend if you haven't done it already. Godhound says, why you don't consider it 3 drives? So what you usually want, okay, is you want to go red, green, green, green. Volume, volume, volume. Where is the volume on the third one? What? Even this guy had it. Can you see it? My drawing is kind of fuck it up. A third drive has to be done on volume. And every single point should have significant outlying volume. It doesn't just blend in. The third point, you can see it, has 0 volume. And I don't know about you, but I'm a big volume guy. So is that a good low, I-19? Is that a weak low? Is that a poor low? You tell me. Is there a chance that we could clean this? Is there a chance that we could clean this? Is there a single print right where we could sweep the low? Yeah, and do you see how on CME ETH it did not make a third drive of its own? It stopped. So that third drive was low volume and it did not confluence with CME. Therefore, I wouldn't consider that a third drive. But it's up to you. And you know what I always say, right? Don't just fucking take my word for it and just tattoo that on your forehead. Shout out Buzzo. I'm just kidding. You need to start seeing these for yourselves. And so what I would do is just say, I would say, KIMBA said he could be full of bullshit. Okay. But KIMBA said, and on July 4th, I saw a low volume third drive. Note to self, start tracking the third drive. Does it have volume or does it not? And keep track of what happens on structure when that third one doesn't happen. And then you guys can report back to me if my observation was correct or if my observation was not good. And I'm going to be here every day, so we'll adjust. But this is kind of what I'm talking about when I say like it's 3-day holiday weekend. It's going to be low volume. It's hard to trust whatever happens. And so that's what I mean by like if it bounces, if this bitch actually goes all the way up here, that's what I mean by it. I would probably think about shorting that. That's what I mean, because it's that's kind of ass. And so then that's how I'm thinking about shit like this already, you know? But obviously I'll be here tomorrow, and maybe tomorrow when I'm here it has done this. Then it's a whole different scenario and we can talk about something else. You know, then I would be thinking about something like this. Then I would be like, oh, okay, let's go. And then I would be looking for like the structure to get broken. Like the higher low shit, the lower high shit would probably get broken. So lots of different ways to kind of anticipate and prepare. Obviously, we can't predict the future. If it goes up, I kind of know what to expect. If it goes down, I kind of know what to expect. You know, we can think about what we've seen before. It did not three drives on CME, so that third drive could be coming on Sunday or Monday, right? Single print's also right there, and Golden Pocket is also right there. Okay, so Godhound asked me why you don't consider it 3 drives. So that's how I would explain it. RPM says that's really something to think about. You have to be really lucky when you're nickel and diming like that. Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why the euphemism, the term is called catching knives, because you're gonna fucking cut your fingers off more than you're gonna actually grab the handle, right? Let's do it. You guys excited? Hey, Bulls, Bears. Let's get nasty. Longers, I'm rooting for you. Shorters, I'm rooting for you. Bulls, Bears, we're all Lions. Lions of Lithuania. Are you ready? Happy 420. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going into the... Okay. I'll see you at the parking lot. That's what you mean. What do you mean, let's hit it quick? I have a giant blunt, dude. Yeah, and I actually got 2 because last time fucking Kozaks and I-19 Base Cadet just ran off with it. I only got to hit it once. So I bought 2 this time. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Houston, Cage, Mandelo, Kachaya.